All right, okay. We are live on YouTube. Just say happy Friday. Awesome. All right. Okay. All right. Well, it's 2:32. We're going to give it a couple more minutes. Typically, it does take people a few minutes just to kind of pour in from wherever they are. So hang tight. Let's see. I was trying to think of a poll that I could have built for today, but nothing is coming to mind. Unless anyone has a suggestion, which I could quickly try to pull something together.
What did we do last year? Halloween? Something about costumes or Halloween?
Could be. I mean, it could be. We're still a little early, but yeah, that's actually a good one. How soon do you start celebrating Halloween? Let me see if I can make one really quick. Good thought, Jerry. All right. All right, give me 30 seconds here and I'll see if I can get this going. Okay, save. Actually, we could have a fun theme over the month for Halloween for sure.
I love all the actual old buildings around the United States that are supposedly actually haunted. Like there's an asylum in upstate New York that's supposed to be really haunted. I would love to go do those ghost tours. I think they're so cool. Do you guys know which one I'm talking about?
Come on down. Wait, what did you say? What's haunted?
Yeah, she said something in upstate New York.
Yeah.
It's an old asylum.
I mean, we
It's
got
like-
all
like-
sorts of haunted things up here, but I don't know about that.
Famously haunted. It's on several different.
We'll have to look it up and see if we can track it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
There's an old jail in Philadelphia that's open for tours, and I think that's also
Oh, is
supposed to be
that?
haunted. Yeah, it's like right behind the big museum row. So it's right behind all the museums.
That's the massive penitentiary, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You're in Eastern Penitentiary or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That is a cool experience.
I want to do that.
I toured there a couple of years ago. It's amazing. That was where Al Capone was for a while. He was, I think, their most famous. And it was back in the days, so it was run by the Quakers. And it was very interesting. It was dedicated, it truly was at the time, dedicated to rehabilitation. I'm sure it was a horrible place to live, but it was dedicated to basically trying to rehabilitate people through a mix of, I think, isolation, a connection with the nature around you, and something else. Like each cell had a window to the sky, if I remember correctly. And then each cell also had, I think, had a door that went out into the yard, but you were never out there with other people. I think it was always by yourself. And it was a weird spoke kind of like shape to the building too. Like, so that, and that had something to do with the whole thing. But it was all tied back to the Quakers and their Reformation, or their belief in restoration. Rebuild.
Wow.
Yeah, Capone's cell was really nicely appointed. It was.
It's Rolling Hills Asylum in upstate New York.
Whereabouts is that, Jerry? What's this city or town that it says?
Let's see. Genesee, am I pronouncing that right? County?
Genesee County or Geneseo? Yeah, so it'd be like west of Syracuse. About halfway, I think, to Rochester.
It was originally opened, it says, in 1827.
Wow. Interesting. All right, well, it's 2:37. We launched a poll for Halloween. How soon do you start prepping for Halloween? You've already started, or October 30th, maybe you're a last minute kind of person, or you don't celebrate it. We're evenly split, or oddly split, I guess, if you look at it technically. 33, 33, and 33. So interesting. When I was growing up, we were always limited in our house in terms of what we could be for Halloween. So we couldn't do anything like scary or demonic, if I remember correctly.
Same.
But I do remember being a ghost a couple of years. So I don't know if that just what category. Apparently that didn't fall into either. So I don't know. So that's what happened.
Like a sheet ghost?
Not
Yes,
a-
like last minute, rip the old bed sheets off. Mother cuts the
Yes.
circles out for your
Exactly.
eyes. That's what I was.
exactly.
Like a sheet ghost? Yeah, that's what Eleanor was last year.
That's definitely, that was a part of my childhood for sure. We'll have to have other poll questions about favorite movies this time of year, because there is always a bunch of holiday movies. And I bet you there's a ton of people. I think Dwayne had like a Friday the 13th thing going in September. So I wonder if a lot of people get into scary movies around this time of year. I know
Yes,
that.
we watched the first and the second Friday the 13th last night.
Oh, you did? Wow. Wow, that's going back too. I mean,
It is. Yes,
what
it is.
year? Like, any idea what year that was? The very first one?
1980.
Wow. And is that with Jamie Lee Curtis? Is that right? Is that
No, that's the Halloween movies.
okay.
Jason is what Camp Crystal Lake Friday.
That is
13th,
correct. Yes.
Wow,
But
that's
I think Jamie Lee Curtis, I think she's doing yet another new Halloween movie that's about to come out, right?
Yes, it comes out on the 15th of this month.
Antonio was saying the same thing in the chat. Tom, I dressed up as the devil and went to a church party. Bible character, right?
You kind of see Thomas being the devil at some point.
Like, cool. Oh, you know what? I didn't check. I need to look at something really quick. All right. While people are finishing up with the poll, I just need to double check something. Okay. Worry about that. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So yeah, I can't keep track of where Michael Myers was last and like what has happened. It feels like he's reincarnated a million times. Okay, let's see. Rolling Hills was originally a working farm. That's interesting, Antonio. I didn't know that either. Oh, now Zoom just disappeared on me. Okay, here we go. Okay, so just in closing out our poll here, we've got how soon do you start prepping for Halloween? Okay, let's hear from someone that already started. What did that look like? Anyone willing to put themselves out there? What did it look like to have already started?
I've already started eating the candy. Does that count?
Yeah, that's the best part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he took my answer.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so that's a future poll, but favorite candy, Dwayne?
Any and all for me, anything except for coconut. So
All right, cool.
The Reese's pumpkins are the best.
the Reese's Pumpkins.
Mhm.
I agree, Bessie.
Yeah,
Awesome.
much better.
So my daughter, my daughter Riley's here, came down for a couple weeks and actually brought her sewing machine with her so that she can work on her costume while she's here. So I thought that was kind of fun. So she's getting a jump start. Okay, let's hear from someone that's last minute. What does that look like? October 30th, is it just this panic attack? Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to a party, I need a costume, or is it like you're waiting for the candy to be like, 2 for 1 and you're picking it off to dump it in? Like, what's the strategy here? What is the October 30th thing?
You get a pumpkin, throw it on the front steps and go get the 2-for-1 candy. Yeah, you got it.
I've done that a couple times. So I just did. All right. Anybody else that waits till the last second? Okay. And then any people that don't celebrate it, anybody willing to share kind of why they don't celebrate it? Just you grew up that way. Maybe it's a religious thing. Maybe it's just kind of you don't like kind of scary things. Anybody willing to put themselves out there?
Me, Alan, I'm just over it.
Oh, you're over it. Okay. That's great.
I'll stop at the school stuff and that's it.
All right, that's great. That's fair enough. Fair enough. Awesome. Well, thank you all for jumping in on that poll. And this is my favorite time of year, is the fall and autumn in this season. It's also Libra season for those keeping track. And so it's just a great time of year all the way around. And Roy, what's the weather been like up where you are? Because I know this time of year, you could literally have snow by Halloween. I mean, that has happened.
Oh, we've had snow on Halloween often, actually. The weather, you can see Amanda sitting outside, and she's in this part of the world, and that's quite unusual for this part of New York State. It's probably about 80 degrees today, and it's going to be nice throughout the weekend. But typically, it's rainy and cold, and could be just about anything. But the weather lately has been beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been gorgeous. I hope we take it all the way to November.
All the way till next July. How's that?
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I was up there Saturday to Sunday picking up Riley, and it was a little chillier, but it was still, I had to have a hoodie on for sure.
Oh yeah, there's definitely, it gets chilly at night. It'll get down into the low 40s at night, but
yeah, we're still like just flirting with fall, I think, right now in the DMV.
Yeah.
What's it like down in Tennessee right now, guys?
It's warm. It's supposed to be like unseasonably warm this weekend in the mid 80s.
Cool.
But it's beautiful. I mean, it's great.
Great football weather.
Yes.
That's another great thing about the fall. It's just football season. Awesome. All right. Well, I don't today have any COVID updates, just as we shift gears. Precious is on the road, and she's actually been in Tennessee. I think she's coming back today. I'm not positive, but so she's been tied up there. That's usually who I get my info from. But, just has been our tradition. Let's just take a moment. I'm sure that COVID is impacting us in some way, shape, or form. Although the numbers are down, that's positive. So that's very good. But let's just have a moment of silence for those that may be struggling with that currently. Certainly for those that we've lost and have had challenges along the way and that still have to deal with the long-term effects. So if you would just join me. All right, thank you. And we're reminded, thankfully, by David, who is on duty right now. So everyone give a shout out, hand wave to David, supporting Kenneth currently right now, and doing so with the proper PPE on. So thank you for wearing your mask. Just a reminder that we are still in universal precautions, needing to keep masks on. So really grateful that David's doing that and that all of our staff do that. And I'm just do a quick mute of everyone. Yeah, just want to remind everyone, it's been a couple of weeks since I've been here. And just as always, want to make sure that we keep letting people know that we still are in universal precautions. We're still having to have PPE. Obviously we need to be careful, especially with and around fellow team members and people who we support. DC still has a mask mandate in place for people that are inside, and we still haven't fully reopened. We're still in the process of doing that. So step by step, we're trying to make our way through this. I do want to give an enormous shout out to our DC team, who really rallied and came through in a big way. A few weeks ago, we had about 140 people that were still unvaccinated and hadn't received the vaccine yet. And as of, I think, a week and a half ago, right, September 30th, when the vaccine mandate went into place for DC, we were down to less than 5 people that had not received the vaccination yet. So I just want to thank all the staff that went out of their way to make that happen. I know there's a lot of managers, a lot of staff that were out there talking to people, trying to make arrangements for transportation, helping people understand the safety of the vaccine, directing them to their providers, doing all those things. And I really want to say thank you to all of those DC staff members that chose to get the vaccination. That's a big decision, and I'm grateful that you've made it. And it certainly keeps us all safe, and certainly furthers the work of St. John. So thank you so very much for answering that call and getting that vaccination. So just as a reminder to everyone, weekly testing has gone into effect for every area outside of DC. In DC, there's testing if you have filled out an exemption and you're pending exemption. You still have to get weekly tested, but otherwise there's the mandate to actually get the vaccine. Outside of DC, we've gone to weekly testing. And so we're in the process of doing that. And as Gloria has pointed out, it's really, you're trying to get it, it's any time during the course of a week. So just because you get it, say on a Monday, 1 week, doesn't mean you have to get it on Monday the following week. We just want to make sure that you get it at some point in time the following week as well. So we do appreciate that. And as you get vaccinated, please upload your proof of vaccination to Paycom. Again, that is pretty step-by-step, pretty easy to do. I've done it off of my phone. So trust me, if I'm able to navigate that, anybody can do that. So by all means, please look at that as a possibility. When you get vaccinated, for both first and second shots, upload those to Paycom, okay? All right, I'm gonna pause there. I think that's it on COVID and on the vaccination front. And just wanna see if there's any questions, comments from anyone relative to that topic, relative to COVID, relative to vaccination.
Hi, Alan. I just want a quick clarifying question.
Yes.
For those in DC who only received 1 shot as of September 30th, they would still technically need to receive a COVID test because they are not considered to be fully vaccinated at this point.
I believe that is correct. So thank you, Alana, for bringing that up. So yes, let's say you got your first shot by the 30th. You would still need to undergo weekly testing until you've gotten that second shot.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I know it's a lot of moving parts to this. So we're all doing our best to hang in there and try to comply, try to keep people safe, just as we've done all along. So, okay. Any other questions? That was a great one. Any other questions or comments relative to COVID and or vaccines or testing? Okay. All right. Well, let me just pause there and open it up. Are there any updates from around St. John's that we would like to share with each other? And then I would also just ask people to be thinking if it's a shout out that you want to give at some point in time to a fellow staff member, if it's a highlight that you'd like to share about someone that you're supporting, we're all ears for those things too. So But let's start with any updates from around St. John's. Who would like to go first?
Hey, Ellen, I can jump in.
Hey, Ray.
Few things going on here. Obviously, with cold weather approaching, we're continuing to work hard on our cold weather program, which involves other agencies around town. We'll be working with churches and the Salvation Army to and hiring some more people as well. So that's ongoing. A couple of pretty neat program things going on. We've been working with OAR, which is a local not-for-profit that helps people coming out of prison find housing. And they've started a new initiative, and we're working closely with them to make sure that people who are paroled from prison have a safe place to live and are not homeless. So currently they come to the shelter, which is good, and we're happy to help them. But these are efforts to help find them permanent supportive housing. So that's a pretty cool thing that's happening. Also, this is something we've started talking about this a while ago. And we've been working with, there in New York State, there's an organization called Statewide Senior Action Council, which was working to do remote health visits with senior citizens. And they have expanded that to include other populations, including the shelter. And they've come to visit us. And we received a grant through the Rotary to buy some iPads and some technology so that our clientele, we're going to provide them with a safe, quiet place where they can communicate and maybe do health visits or visits with the mental health or their doctor visits, or if they just want to call and talk to someone who might be able to help them out. So a couple of neat, not huge programs, but little things to help people with the population that we serve. So that's the update from New York State.
Cool. Thank you, Roy.
Yeah,
They're both exciting.
yes.
Any movement towards permanent supportive housing is amazing. And next month is National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week, I believe. I don't think it's a month, but we'll be highlighting that as well. So we'll be telling more and more stories about our work in homeless services and highlighting those efforts up in New York as well as DC, where I believe in DC we now have 8 residents in Oasis, if that number is correct. But I think it's either 8 or 9, which is almost at capacity. And while Roy, just piggybacking off of some of what Roy was talking about, in homeless services, there's a massive kind of RFP that's released every year called the NOFA, and it's the Notice of Funding. And it's basically the way that HUD directs federal dollars into communities across the entire country to address homelessness across the country. And Rich has been busy all week, the last couple of weeks, writing a number of different proposals in each of the areas, I think, just about that we provide services. I know definitely in Tennessee, and then DC, and I think possibly up in New York too. But so he's submitting a bunch of different applications and proposals on behalf of St. John's that we hope could lead to expanding our homeless services footprint across the agency. So really exciting times. All right, thank you, Roy. Other updates?
I'll go. There's not a whole lot new from this week to last week. I will say, please go shop on Poshmark 1868. We're really close to $1,000, and that's kind of our goal, to draw down money for the Oasis participants. And with 2 new ones who will need everything for their apartment, it'd be great. So if you're not shopping, pass along the word on your social media about 1868. We'd love to have some more people on there. And then just another acquisition is going out soon. So hopefully we'll get even more new donors to help with all of our programs.
Yeah, that's great, Bessie. If there's a way that you guys can drop the Poshmark link it all into the chat, that would be cool, just so that people can see that. And at some point in time, if we haven't done this recently, we might even want to go on the site just to show some folks kind of what's up there, just to give them a sense. I know, as an example, we had our board retreat in September, and Bessie presented about Poshmark and showed the site to the board members, and we had a lot of discussion. They had a lot of questions, a lot of interest around that. So it's really cool. Just a lot of hard work that goes into getting those items and then posting them, selling them, and then shipping them out. So it's in the link there in the chat. So definitely check it out. It's really, really cool. So, and thank you.
I will say there's a great pair of roller skates. So if anybody wears an 8.5 and you want some roller skates, go on there. They look brand new.
I think I read that roller skating is making a comeback.
It's an awesome sport.
So cool. And then not to steal Bessie's thunder, but I do want to highlight that a couple weeks from now, we are going to launch our new website. And so this is very exciting. I think, Bessie, if I remember correctly, we're actually going to try to do some sort of a live launch at the town hall on the 22nd. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so you'll want to be here for that, because in the process of that launch, we want you to share that news with your networks, with your social feeds. So it's a big deal for St. John's. George and I were able to sit with Bessie and the team and review kind of the latest. It's about 98.9% ready to go. They're doing some final kind of pieces on it. It's very exciting. And leaves our current website in the dust. So very excited about the direction, really excited about the content and the quality and the stories that are up there. It's going to be really, really exciting. It's something that I think each of us at St. John's are going to be proud to tell our networks about and tell people that matter to us, go check this out. This is the organization that I work with and for, and really excited to be able to share that. So again, October 22nd at Town Hall, we're going to do a live launch, and it'll be very interactive. So be sure to be here for that. Cool. Thank you, Bessie. Other updates from around St. John's?
Hi, it's Gloria.
Hey, Gloria.
Hey, so I'll just say that PTO carryover. So anyone who had between 1 and 16 hours of PTO left in their account, it has been rolled over. So you'll still have, oh, wow. So you'll still.
I forgot I'm out of practice. I normally spotlight the person that's talking. So give me a few reminders.
Wow. You can, thanks. You can, you'll have, those hours over into your new bank in addition to the new 24 hours of PTO. So that's exciting. And then I know that some of us, for whatever reason, the accruals stop, your vacation accruals stop. So we've partially fixed that. So just FYI, the accruals should have restarted by now, at least I hope. But then there's some accruals that we're going to retro. So for example, if your accrual stopped in July and then they've just started again, well, you've missed some accrual hours there. So we're working to have those accruals retro back into your vacation and our sick banks. So give us a little bit more time. We're working with the HRIS system, with the HRIS professionals to help us fix that. There was something wrong with the setup. And so again, we're making those changes. So hopefully by next week, that part will be updated and all your accruals will be back intact as they were before they stopped. So that's all there is from the HR department.
And Gloria, we're into the new fiscal year. So you've launched realignment too of kind of the whole HR structure. How's that going so far? Because we're kind of, out of the starting gate, we were moving some pieces around and some people are supporting, but it's really an exciting time that we're centralizing all of our HR functions and really trying to have a whole HR team, which we really never have had before. So just any thoughts or anything that's happening that you want to share?
Yeah, well, thank you. It's going great, at least I think. So we have a recruiting team They are just, I mean, that is their job, just to recruit. So we don't have recruiters doing new hire orientation anymore, that sort of thing. So recruiters are doing everything pre-hire. We have 3 recruiters on our team. We have Dimonia, who is our lead recruiter. We have Terry Williams, who's one of our recruiters. And then we also have Bethany Mosley, who's the other recruiter. And then we have an HR generalist team. Their thing is everything post-hire, everything from new hire orientation to any benefit questions you might have, et cetera, to anything that's employee related. That is their job. So we have Christy in New York, and we have Charlie for Delaware. We have Renita and me sort of splitting the duty with DC for now. And then we have Cynthia in Virginia and Tanya in Tennessee. And then we also have a brand new benefits manager role, and that is Renita also. So Renita and I are splitting some duties in terms of helping out with DC until we can find the person for the DC generalist role. But in the meantime, also Renita's job is the benefits manager. That is her job, is to focus on making sure we have the right benefit plans at the right cost. Her role is to look at usage to see what benefits we're using mostly or not so much, and to sort of, rearrange our benefit structure, et cetera, et cetera. So it is an exciting time, and and we are very much customer focused. We have a brand new mission statement, HR mission statement, which we rolled out a couple of weeks ago. So we're excited. And I hope in the next, sorry to put you out there, Bessie, but hopefully in the next, the second round of the website rollout, we'll have an internal login, so you can log into HR to see HR updates and those types of things in the second iteration. So it's exciting.
If for no other reason to shut you up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I won't stop talking about it. Every chance I get, I ping it. I put it in there.
It's awesome. Well, congratulations. That's huge. It's a big undertaking to pull together what was a very decentralized department, if you will, or made up of a few different kind of departments and people, and pulling it all together. So heading in the right direction for sure.
Thank you.
Cool. Other updates? Anyone else? Update.
I'll just jump in.
All right. Kwaku.
Yeah, just Kwaku, and just to piggyback on what Gloria said and what everybody was talked about before. Okay. Wow. Gloria, is my lighting cool or what? Am I good? We have some internal things in regards to lighting and scenery around for the leadership team. So I have to check with Gloria to make sure I'm on the one right now. I'm good? Okay. All right. Do I move my head this way or that way? All right. But just to say the makeup, a little scruffy, need to shave. Okay, I got you. So really the big things is really a lot of time, a lot of thought went into the rollover with the PTO and accruals, and that came out of a lot of conversations that we've had with everybody at the organization and the staff. So I just want everybody to know that when you do have a comment or you have something to say, to share it, and everybody takes all of those things very, very seriously up to the leadership level. So there's never a stupid question. There's never a time where people don't want to hear from you, and make sure we have the best place possible. And our Touch Our Talk match was really nice this week. Some of our persons went out to the pumpkin farm and started carving pumpkins. And then after the pumpkins, they made pumpkin pie when they got home. So that was really, really, really nice to see. And there's a lot of conversations that are going on in the backgrounds to really make this a place that people want to be at and stay at. So I'm really super excited about that, even though that means tons of emails, tons of meetings, tons of analysis, tons of what the hell you thinking. So, but I think we're all working together to make this a great place for everybody. Super excited about that. I'm good, Glo. I'm over and out.
There's some feedback in the chat you might want to look at, but that's all right.
Oh, my head looks big. What's good? What I need to do, Glo? What I need to do to get?
You're good.
Your head is shining. Hold on. That's Gloria with the light. That's what they told me to do. That's what production told me to do. Our production team said I needed to lighten it up a little bit. They were like, you can't.
I told you forgot the makeup. You need some powder, man. Little
The
powder.
powder? What I need to do?
Little
All
powder.
right, all right, all right,
I'll
all
let
right.
you off, I'll let you off the hook. No, you look good, Kwaku. No worries.
You're shining bright like a diamond, Kwaku. You just
All
shine-
right, do you like the
There you
dot?
go,
Thank
there you
you.
go.
Thank you. I need that. They was like, "Quite, you look a little crazy sometimes on the camera. We need to lighten you up a little something." I was like,
Shining bright like a diamond. That's awesome. All right. Okay. Interestingly enough, though, Kwaku, you mentioned pumpkin patch. You'll have to tell me where you went, because my other teen, Rowan, was asking me the other day, "Do you think there's pumpkin patches down here?" And I'm sure they're around. You know, there's a lot of farmland in places, but so gotta believe that there's some good places in the DMV area to go to. Check that out. So if you have suggestions, throw them in the chat. That'd be awesome. I'd love to check those out this month. All right. Any other updates? Any other updates?
Hey, Alan, just one quick update for DC.
Yeah.
And Steve did mention this last week. So just a reminder, we are getting a new resident into DC on this coming Monday at our Georgia Avenue location.
Awesome.
So excited to welcome him in the family on Monday.
And Ilana, this is on the IDD side, right? On the intellectual and developmental disability side. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. Very good. That's cool. It's great to see referrals opening up and happening. That's really exciting. And I do want to give a shout out to the DC team on the quality side. We had a meeting with DDS this week, and Alana was there, Steve was there, George was there. I think Precious was on that for a bit, myself. And DDS was commenting about how far we've come in DC over the last couple of years, particularly the last 18 months, relative to quality and addressing issues. And we still have work to do, but the team has been working really, really hard to try to address concerns and try to prevent them in the first place. And so just to be recognized by our funders is always a positive thing when that happens. And they threw us some love and made a point of saying that they had seen some marked improvement. So just tremendous for that team, and keep up the great work there.
Thank you, Alan. It was very nice to hear that on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, George, thanks for throwing in some options there. I appreciate that. All right, other updates. Someone I'd love to hear from, who I'm going to call out a little bit, just fairly new to the organization, but we've met him before, and that's Alfred. And I don't know, Alfred, if you're in a place where you're able to kind of give us an update for Delaware. Not sure, you might be in the middle of.
Hey, George. George, Alan, I'm here, but I'm driving. I'm on my way up to north to go to the site. So going up there to meet with Gershom. The update from Delaware, we have our newest RTL. Her name is Angel McNair. She started on Monday. So today actually is the first day that I'm going to meet with her in person. So I'm excited about that. All we'll be doing is virtual. So I'm looking forward for that. Other than that, Delaware, we also have a new office, which we got the keys on the 1st of October. So we haven't really set it up yet fully, but we are working on that. I know everybody's so excited about that. And I think I was talking to the people at the division as well. And they're excited that for the first time, really, we're going to have a physical office in the state. And it's not like every single day they hear St. John's, their main office is in DC. And our satellite office is based that we had in Dover. So we are excited about that. The other updates, obviously, we're working on our new residential homes in the state. One probably will be open early next month, and another one towards the end of December. So we are excited about that, and we are seeking referrals, obviously, to put people in there. Other than that, nothing really to report.
Sorry, I'm muted. Alfred, thank you for that. And I know you're on the fly, so appreciate you giving us an update. Yeah, certainly the office space is a huge deal, and getting that situated correctly so that Delaware's got a good presence. The Delaware space has been a struggle, so it's nice to see that addressed. And then Alfred has been working very hard to try to increase referrals and look at new opportunities. And so seeing a new potential home open up, seeing new people coming in, that's tremendous. So just want to give Alfred a shout out, and actually kind of want to use that opportunity as a way to piggyback a little bit and talk about kind of fiscal year 22, the board retreat, kind of where to from here. So in September, I had mentioned that in September we had our board retreat, and that's where we meet with our volunteer board and we lay out the plan for fiscal year 22. And that's made up of our quality improvement plan. It's made up of our strategic initiatives, and then it's made up of the budget. And kind of what the picture I've been trying to share with the board and with different team members is, if you picture kind of the org chart for St. John's, as we move forward, on one side of the org chart is our operations, right? Those are our day-to-day program operations. That's what's happening 24/7 in the homes, in the shelter, down at Harlan Morris, out in the community, both IDD, homeless services, everything that we do. So that's kind of the operational side. And in support of that, you've got finance, you've got HR. I mean, that is always happening, right? Then on the other side of the org chart, we've got our strategic growth and capacity building areas. Okay, these are areas of the organization that we believe that if we invest in, it's going to create new opportunities for St. John's with our mission in terms of touching more people. And it's going to potentially diversify our funding stream, bring more resources into St. John's. And those three areas are three pillars. One is business development under Rich. And I talked about how he's right now even submitting proposals. Literally today, the man is submitting proposals before he jumps on a flight. But he's taking care of that to try to expand services. Then you've got Bessie, who we heard from earlier, with fundraising and marketing and bringing donors into the organization that allow us then to use dollars to expand our mission. And then you've got Precious's work with enabling technology and remote supports and remote monitoring. And so the more that we can efficiently run our operations, the more that we can then invest in the strategic growth areas and capacity building. So that's kind of the model going into 22. I also want to say that going into 22 is going to be a big year for leadership development and working towards strengthening our bench and our bench strength across the whole organization. That's going to take time to do. But one of the things, we realize is, Brittany had left to move on for other opportunities. So we don't have a head of DC. Tennessee has 4 regional directors, but we don't have a head of Tennessee. And so, we need to, at the right time, find the right people to be able to bolster and strengthen and develop and be able to unleash in these areas from a leadership perspective, so that we can coordinate our efforts and focus our efforts even more. And so over the coming year, I think we're going to be looking to do that both structurally and making sure that we've got the right talent that is in the right positions to have the greatest impact. And then also, we also have talked with Gloria about doing some leadership development and management training for our managers at all levels. And now, kind of, if you've been around, you've heard the mantra crawl, walk, run. So we'll start small and build from there. But it's really the direction that we need to go. At the end of the day, everything that we achieve at the organization is because of the people and the talent that we have at all levels of the organization. And so if we want to keep winning as an organization, if we want to keep taking new ground as an organization, we got to make sure that we've got the right talent, that they're well-trained, well-equipped, and well-positioned to be able to have the biggest impact they can. So more to come on that. But I used, Alfred there as an example. Alfred joined St. John's back during the summer, and has really hit the ground running and had a remarkable impact. And all throughout the organization, we have staff, team members, managers, administrators that are doing a remarkable job. And we want to make sure that they're positioned to have the biggest impact possible. So we don't yet know what all of that looks like, but I do know that if we want to advance our mission, if we want to run operations really efficiently, if we want to have growth and opportunity for the future, we've got to keep investing in people at all levels. And so the leadership team, as Kwaku referenced, that's something that we take seriously. It's something we talk about, and it's something that we'll be acting on in a variety of different ways throughout fiscal year 22 with the new plan. So more to come on all the different kind of happenings with each of those plans. We want to make sure that we highlight, developments as they happen. And actually, one of these days, we're also going to be hosting a town hall virtually. So I'm excited about that. We'll be using VR to host town hall, and you'll be able to participate in it even if you aren't in a VR environment at the time. But it's really exciting, just the ground that's being broken all across St. John's, and it's really a great time for our organization, and we'll keep pushing forward. So we will do our very best to keep moving the needle and making sure that we can support as many people as possible and continue to grow and expand our services. All right, I'll pause there. Any other updates that are out there and or questions, highlights, or stories? Okay, I don't see any hands and or hear anybody jumping out. Any shout outs, any highlights, any stories, any final updates before we call it a Friday?
Hey, Alan, it's Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, guys. I'll give a shout out here for Tennessee. I'll speak on Tennessee. I'd like to give a shout out to our team, pushing and fighting through. I want to pivot off of Randy again. Randy gets multiple shout outs over the year, but he was our hands and feet in Jackson this week, getting our internet kind of situated. Situated there, and while we were working remotely and being creative with having connection and accessibility. Also want to pivot off of and just Tom holding it down here in Bartlett. It's been another case of hitting the ground running, and I just want to kind of give a shout out to those two gentlemen and our directors here.
Thank you so much for that, Ryan. And yes, I want to piggyback on that with Tom, particularly, and the RTLs that work with Tom, the staff that work with Tom. They've had to just carry a huge weight and a heavy load in terms of staffing and just the challenges we've had with the labor crisis, particularly in that part of the organization. And many people are working on a lot of extra shifts and extra hours and making it happen. So thank you so much for doing that. And Ryan, thank you for bringing that up. And also, Ryan, Precious was telling me that we were asked to be part of like a further extension of the tech initiative, and that we were only one of, I think, 2 organizations.
Yeah.
And we were asked to be part of it. We would have knocked on doors otherwise, but they have been so impressed with what we were doing there that they asked us to be part of that. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I was reached out to by Linda Hall, who is, she's a member of our provider at DIDD, or our funder at DIDD here in the state of Tennessee. And she requested, I was the contact that, they were familiar with, but I'm on the West Tennessee Planning and Policy Committee with her. And they asked us to present and give a testimonial during the next provider forum meeting, where all the providers in the state of Tennessee get together and meet, and they hear all the latest that's coming down the pipe, as well as get some information and some presentations. So they asked two providers, us and a competitor, to speak on that, of how we're using technology and how we're moving things forward in the quality of life for our individuals that we support. So we've, our motto is one band, one sound. We got everybody involved. It kind of came, real fast, in the space of what we're going through right now. So it's, we discussed a lot of that this week in planning and just mapping out just exactly how we're going to present at that forum that's on October 28th. So we've got a backstory and some content. Precious is going to lead the way, speaking on it, and Carl's going to, with Steve, navigate virtually. So there's going to be a virtual VR aspect to what we're doing in that presentation. So much of it is still in the garage at this point, for our state and what we're doing. But it's exciting. It's exciting. So.
No, that's great. And just to kind of talk a little bit about that. So Carl was helping me with my VR experience and coming up to speed. And for the board retreat, we actually did part of Precious's presentation virtually. And it was so cool because at one point in time, I'm virtually on stage with Ryan, who's in Tennessee, with Steve, who's in Maryland, and with Precious, who was down in Miami at the time, and all part of the presentation for the board. And we're just scratching the surface, but it's really exciting to see us thinking that way and being forward-looking, forward-thinking, being innovative, and pushing the envelope and moving forward. So more to come on that, but super exciting. And it's great to be receiving the well-deserved recognition for those efforts as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan, for all that. Any other shout outs, any highlights, stories, and or final updates? Okay, well, not hearing anything and not just looking to see, and I'm just going to really quick check on YouTube. Just sometimes I need to remember to do that. Okay, nothing there. Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Charlie, for putting that in the chat. Want to shout out everyone, always able to reach out and get help and or answers needed. Appreciate you all. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Let's see, cool. All right. Well, with that in mind, it's 3:25. We might as well wrap up. And I just want to thank you all for being with us this afternoon. Good turnout. Thank you all for your work this week. And if you're heading into shift for the weekend, thank you for being there and standing in the gap and making sure that St. John's is able to deliver on our promise to the people we support, especially during these incredibly challenging times. You all have continued to be an inspiration. I love the support and the inclusivity that St. John's offers to each other. I think that's something very special as an organization. We are not perfect by any stretch, but I do know that we have a lot of committed people trying to do the very best they can. And we represent a diverse, kind of spectrum of backgrounds and beliefs and experiences. And yet within the context of St. John's, I believe that we try to celebrate, we try to lean on those things, we try to recognize that and leverage that for the best of our organization. So it's just an honor to be part of that. And I just want to thank you all for what you do each and every day to make our mission happen and to be the ambassadors you are for St. John's. So hope you have a tremendous rest of your afternoon and wonderful weekend, and get some time for yourself and your loved ones. Have an awesome weekend, and thank you so very much. Bye
Take care,
now.
everybody.
Bye, guys.